Elsewhere, I have described 4 types of people who call themselves transgender, and all 4 combined as groups are relatively small as of now, spring 2023. Now, let me identify the larger group. They are not calling themselves transgender. They are the cowards who go along with people who call themselves transgender. They know that transgender doesn't really exist, that no male will ever lactate, that no male will ever give birth. They know, this is scientifically sound, that no female will ever produce sperm. And yet, these collaborators cheer on every instance of transgenderism that's made public to them. At the corporate level, this is very dangerous because corporations do seem to run our country. Corporate heads celebrate the struggle of a trans person, even though the struggle is really an indulgent cop-out. It's not a struggle. At the media level, we see sports broadcasters who call men who beat up women in an MMA ring, calling them brave. They know it's not brave, but their jobs rely these days on them following the party line. And the line of least resistance for media and corporate, and more now government, is to side with those who feel, and to stay away from anything that might be called a standard, anything that might be actually good long-term for trans-identifying people, but it might not feel that good immediately. So, though I've called them cowards, it's easy to be coward because we all have outward sympathy. And yet, too few of us turn the sympathy into the right course of action, which is to say, our love for you means adhering to a standard, adhering to truth, and not indulging a delusion. You are delusional if you truly believe that you can become the opposite sex. And you are vile if you try to do that to a child or indulge a child into believing that, especially if you're in the medical profession who might start giving hormone therapy or giving snips to body parts that shouldn't be removed ever, but certainly not to children. Those who are, quote, sympathetic, they believe that making a trans-identifying person feel good, that is paramount, that their temporary pursuit of happiness must be supreme, even though it will probably ruin them for certain things down the road. I have, I'm pretty sure, a greater love for the truly disturbed person than that person's indulging family members. The parents who will not put a stop to a kid who says briefly, I think I'm a girl when it's a boy. That they won't put a stop to it and thus encourage schools that do the same thing, or worse, they don't even report tendencies to parents. Well, I have a bigger love, even though I'm a stranger to these temporarily wayward people, than their family members who won't put a stop to it. By the way, I have a love for feminists, true feminists, those who believe in the specialness of femininity, and those who believe in special roles for most women. Sure, exceptions exist, but those who stand up for these 2 pillars, the true feminists, are getting more and more rare. Well, if you consider yourself to be in that category, you can't possibly believe in transgenderism, because transgenderism destroys feminism. I'm Mark Stewart.